Welcome to Elimination Wednesday at the Division II Baseball Championship in Cary, North Carolina. I'm Joe Castellano along with Lincoln Rose, and our first elimination game of the day is a rematch of the first game of the tournament, Southern Arkansas and Rollins. And Lincoln, in that first game, was a tight 3-1 battle won by Southern Arkansas. We saw both starting pitchers go all the way, both starting pitchers threw 5 hitters, Jeremy Adorno for Southern Arkansas and Jalen Whitehead for Rollins. This time around, we'll see what the starters do. We've got 2 starters here that have not started a lot of games. They were in the bullpen, but they're being put out there as the starting pitchers. We'll see senior Tate Stone Fresina first, 8-1 on the mound for Rollins.
Yeah, obviously somebody had to lose that meeting on Saturday, but that was the best overall pitching combination we've seen from both teams, as both starters, Whitehead for Rollins and Adorno for Southern Arkansas, did go the distance to save their bullpens, to save the rest of their staff. Ever since, Rollins has been battling through the elimination bracket, found their first victory the other day, as Southern Arkansas, for the first time now, is asking to fight for their season. You see the Rollins pink tops, they debuted those on Mother's Day, but they've now taken on a second meaning of anytime they face elimination, they go to those shirts. And they are hoping to survive here today.
Rollins got great pitching to survive on Monday when they beat Illinois Springfield, eliminating the Prairie Stars, as Justin Allentoff went 7 scoreless innings in that one. So now we'll see what they get out of Stone Fresina. It was a 3.49 ERA.
We're waiting on an outfield door to be closed. Don't want to let the mule out.
Once we get that, we'll be underway. Southern Arkansas, they snapped a 10-game winning streak with their 11-3 loss to Point Loma on Monday. So trying to get back on the winning track here today, if we can ever get that wall closed up, and it is closed up. And here we go. Chris Sutton ready to go, hitting .313, 6 homers and 42 RBIs, and we are underway. About 3 hours earlier than the original schedule as we try to beat the rain that is supposed to come in later today.
Chris was 1 for 4 against Rollins pitcher Jalen Whitehead back on Saturday.
Gets ahead in the count 1-0, and he swings and misses 1-1.
5 different mule riders with base hits in that ball game.
Lots of 300 hitters in this lineup. In fact, everybody is hitting over 300 for the mule riders. Sutton, McGee, and Nickel to start it out. Pitch is high for a ball, 2-1.
I mention this each time, but again, for the past 4 years, Southern Arkansas had All-American Austin Baker both leading off and playing second. Finally ran out of eligibility, and Chris this year as a sophomore has stepped right in. All defensive team for the conference.
It's fouled back, 2-2.
While also hitting .314 with 6 home runs coming into this week.
Well, Southern Arkansas head coach Justin Pettigrew calls him a grinder. And the Mule Riders will try to get their offense going early. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Popped in the air towards second base, and Adams Torres. 1 up, 1 down for the Mule Riders in the first inning.
Good start from Tate Stone Fresina, trusting his defense behind him, getting the pop out.
Now Brent Mcgee hitting .313, 16 homers, 74 RBIs. Well, it's a Southern Arkansas team that coming into the championship here was averaging 10.3 runs a game, tied for 5th in the nation. 6 walks a game to lead the nation. Here in Cary, their offense has not been up to snuff, as they're only hitting .194 as a team in the first 2 games. 1-0 the count to McGee.
See Brandon Nickel on deck.
Speaking of walks, McGee broke the school record for walks this season.
Record used to belong to Riley Orr's dad, Jonathan Orr.
61 walks for McGee this season. His on-base percentage is .516. His OPS is over 1,100. He rips one foul down the right field side. Went right by the trailer over there.
Brett's been by far the best hitter this week for Southern Arkansas. No teammate batting better than 286. Brett's hitting 429 this week. 3 for 7 with a double and a walk. Scored 3 runs in both games. The difference is gave up 1 run to Rollins, gave up 11 to Point Loma.
Quick bat right there for McGee, turning a 90-mile-an-hour fastball into a foul ball to right. That pitch is high for a ball. 2-1 to McGee. In that first game against Rollins, it was a 3-run homer by Connor Allen that was the difference. That was the only scoring for the Mule Riders. 1 big blast, and then they had their pitching from Adorno. 2-1 pitch. Popped in the air down the left field side. Coleman coming over. And that is out number 2. That'll bring up Brandon Nickel hitting .336, 14 homers, 82 RBIs. Has a couple of hits and 7 at-bats in this tournament with an RBI.
A pop out and fly out so far gives way. Another look at the shot out towards left.
We wondered what we were going to get today after yesterday. We had 2 games that featured 13 hit by pitches, 27 walks, so that's 40 free passes that we saw yesterday. Maybe it'll be a lot tamer today. We've got a game later on that features Angelo State. They were involved yesterday, lost 18-3, facing Westchester.
Joe, because of yesterday, anybody who shows up at the ballpark the rest of this week and tells the person at the gate, Joe Castellano sent you, they get a free pass into the ball game.
Sounds good. 0-2 now to Nickel. Your home plate umpire is Josh Gottlieb. Rick Cacciatore at first base. Drew Eaton at second. Steve Zawiski is the third base umpire. He had to go to the hospital yesterday. He was hit on the hand by a pitch, and it turned out to be a bruise, thank goodness. So Steve Zawiski is here as the umpire at third base.
There's Steve. That right hand. You'll understand if he gestures a little more often with the left.
2-2 now for Nickel. Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where batters were getting hit, the umpire, catchers were going down. It was a dangerous place to be at home plate yesterday. Center fielder Meehan playing very deep. That pitch misses for a ball, 3-2. You wonder how the ball will carry today, because it seems like more of a humid morning. We don't have any wind to knock the ball down. And that center fielder Meehan playing a little towards left center. 3-2 to Nickel. Strike 3 called on the outside part of the plate. So Stone Frasina walks off the mound with a 1-2-3 inning and his first strikeout. The end of 1/2 inning, the score, Southern Arkansas 0. Rollins coming to bat. Junior right-hander Parker Abrego on the mound, 2-0, 3.90 ERA, making his third start, 12th appearance of the year. And the junior from Argyle, Texas, will be facing the Rollins Tars, who come in 41-16. They've won 6 of their last 7. And Rollins, coached by John Sjogren in his 17th season. They lost their first game against Southern Arkansas, and then they were able to rebound with a victory to get here as they beat Illinois Springfield, a tight game, 3-2.
That was our first elimination game of the week. That was the first flag to come down. We are down to 6 teams, 6 flags still flying high. Hopefully that's not a trademark infringement. But yeah, you mentioned this top of the broadcast, Joe. Not a lot of starts this year for either of today's starters. This is the 3rd game of the week. 3rd game in 5 days for these 2 teams. As Joey Rubin about to make his way up for Rollins.
So Parker Abrego who has struck out 25, walked 20 in 27 and 2/3 innings. Joey Rubin will lead it off, hitting .283 with a home run and 20 RBIs. He's done a nice job as the leadoff man, 3 for 8 here in Cary. They play him to pull in the infield. And Abrego deals, it's fouled back 0-1.
Joey was 1 for 4 against Southern Arkansas in that loss on Saturday.
Stands in the back of the box. That one's lifted into right field in the corner. Allen coming over under control. In foul territory, 1 out. Now Chase Acuff, who's hitting .379 in the season, 2 homers and 25 RBIs. 2 for 6 here in Cary. He's been hit by a couple of pitches. Say that about a lot of players. How about yesterday? I mean, for those of you who didn't follow it, Southern New Hampshire led 3-0 midway through the game. Westchester came back, and we'll be talking about Westchester later today when they play Angelo State in our second elimination game. But Westchester had 5 batters get hit by pitches in the same inning as they came back to win that game 7-3. And 3 different pitchers hit those 5 batters. It's fouled back out of play. 1-1. Nobody's ever seen anything like that.
Joe, that was a ball game that began with the first 3 batters for Westchester walking in the first inning, though it didn't lead to any runs.
But later on in the game, they came back and eliminated the Penn men. So Illinois Springfield and Southern New Hampshire, the 2 teams that have been eliminated. We'll have 2 more eliminated today, so that'll drop us down to 4 teams left. 1-2 now to Acuff with 1 away, nobody on.
Chase had a single in the first inning against Rollins back on Saturday. That was the first hit of the ball game.
The 1-2 to Acuff. Fouled back out of play. It remains 1-2. The Tars, the number 6 seed. Southern Arkansas, the number 3 seed.
And Acuff among the seniors and grad students who put on that uniform once they're in the elimination bracket, never knowing if it's the last time they suit up for their school. This St. Petersburg, Florida native.
Does a great job at shortstop for Rollins. Breaking ball just missed outside. 2-2. In fact, Coach Sjogren told us that this shortstop, Acuff, is the best that he's ever coached. And Coach Sjogren's been around for over 30 years. He's coached at Bryant and now at Rollins. 2-2 on the way to Acuff. High for a ball. 3-2. He's got a big hole in the right side of the infield. The second baseman, Sutton, is playing almost straight up the middle. Any kind of contact to the right side will get a base hit out of it. Abrego into the wind. Here comes the 3-2 to Acuff. Liner down the right field line. Will it stay fair? Yes. All the way to the wall before Allen can get it. Acuff getting to second base. Holds up with a 1-out double.
First base hit, first base runner for either team. Connor Allen does everything he can out there and right to track it down and deny Acuff a thought of maybe a triple. But a 1-out double for Acuff.
Nice job shooting the ball the other way down the right field line. Gets his 3rd hit here in Cary in 7 at-bats. Now Adams Torres, who's looking for his first hit, 0 for 7 here with a couple of strikeouts. .295 average on the season, 7 homers, 49 RBIs. Big breaking ball misses inside, 1-0 to Torres. Torres, a transfer from UCF, was a shortstop, moved over to second base, is where he's playing now, with Acuff doing such a good job at short. Second baseman Sutton checking Acuff at second. That pitch in the dirt, nice block by Mcgee right there, saved the runner from going to third. Boy, did he slide out to his right very quickly to block that pitch. It's a nice security blanket to have a catcher who can block pitches like that.
Mentioned how well McGee's been hitting this week, but obviously so valuable in his catching role.
Pitch to Torres. Bouncing ball hit weakly to shortstop for Orr. Plenty of time. High throw. He's out. Coming down, Machuca to make the play. The runner Acuff goes to third, 2 down. Machuca, nice job to get up, get back down.
Riley Orr gives a little glance to the runner going to third, and then fires one over to first. Knows he has time, but a little high, and Jacob Machuca able to save this one.
Came back down on the bag just in time. That's when you want gravity to be in your favor. I got to get back down. Jesslyn Whitehead at the plate, hitting .343, no homers, 37 RBIs. Trying to pick up the runner from third, takes a strike, 0-1. Jesslyn's brother, Jalen, pitched a complete game for Rollins against Southern Arkansas in the opener. But unfortunately, it was a loss in the complete game, even though he threw a 5-hitter with 8 strikeouts for Jalen. Here's Jesslyn trying to help out on the offensive side. Takes low, 1-1.
Just a freshman, but here's your cleanup hitter. Going to be a fun one to watch over the next few years.
His brother Jalen is a grad student, so they were probably savoring the opportunity to play together. Acuff at third, 2 down. Pitch to Whitehead is down and away, 2-1.
Yeah, they're one of at least 2 brother duos here this week.
It'll be important for McGee to continue to block pitches if they're in the dirt. That runner at third base, Acuff, who has good speed. There's a lot of room between home plate and the backstop, too. Here's a pitch, fouled back, 2-2 to Whitehead. So Brago trying to get out of this and leave a runner at third base.
Rollins still hoping, whether it be a pass ball, wild pitch, or a base hit, Chase Acuff can come home those final 90 feet. Give Tate Stone Fresina a lead to work with next inning.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Whitehead. The pitch, fouled back. It remains 2-2. 78 degrees here for the start of this game. The humidity is about 80%. Lots of cloud cover. The sun has broken through, but we are expecting rain later this afternoon. Hopefully we get both games in before we see any raindrops. That would be nice. Whitehead with the bat on his shoulder now lifts it up, the 2-2. Line drive right field. That's a base hit. It will score a run. Acuff in from third, and Rollins takes a 1-0 lead.
Second base hit, both to right field. Chase Acuff shot that one to the corner earlier with 1 out. Slowly moves his way to third, and the sombrero as he's greeted at home, along with some maracas. And that's just fundamental baseball right there.
The pink jerseys come through again for Rollins. That's 2 batters that have been able to shoot one the other way with success. Here's Nick Santucci, the DH, hitting .272, 14 homers, 44 RBIs. And he takes outside 1-0. Doesn't matter how humid it is, Santucci will be wearing long sleeves. Whatever works for you. He's got 3 hits and 7 at-bats so far here in this tournament. And he takes high for a ball, 2-0.
Yeah, Nick was a bright spot in that loss against Southern Arkansas on Saturday. 2 for 4 with a run scored.
He's a grad student from Franklin, Massachusetts. One of those recruits that Coach Sjogren gets is he coached up at Bryant in the Northeast and still has contacts up there. Short lead at first for Whitehead. Swing and a miss, 2-1 the count. And Coach John Sjogren, when he previously coached at Bryant, he coached against Rollins, and his team beat Rollins in the 2004 Division II championship. And that was the last time that the Tars made it to the D2 championship before this year. They'd only been one other time, and that was 1989. Pitch outside, 3-1 to Santucci. They've never won it all.
Here this year is the 6th seed, able to come through the Sunshine State Conference, the St. Leo Regional, and then at Tampa last weekend for the Super Regional, able to sweep the Spartans, a powerhouse.
Yeah, beat them in two very different games, 2-1 and 13-6. 3-1 inside, ball 4. So 2 on now with 2 outs for the Tars. For Cameron Meehan, who already has a 3-run homer to his credit. Actually, a 2-run homer, I should say, in the last game, and 3 RBIs in the tournament. So Meehan hitting .292. That home run he hit the other day is 12th of the year, now 34 RBIs. And he hits one on the ground at third. Oh, gobbled up by Nickel. That was hit pretty hard. Makes the play at third, and the inning is over. 1 run does come in on a couple of base hits. 2 left. At the end of 1, Rollins 1, Southern Arkansas nothing. Those guys are eliminating some dirt out there for the USA Baseball facility, and we are eliminating 2 teams today on Elimination Wednesday at the Division II Baseball Championship. Alongside Lincoln Rose, I'm Joe Castellano. We've been here for every game. This is the 9th game of the tournament. Jacob Machuca leading it off and takes a called strike 0-1 as he faces Tate Stone Forcina, who had a 1-2-3 first inning for the Tars.
Jacob looking for his first hit against Rollins this week.
He's 0 for 7 in the tournament with 3 strikeouts, and he skies this one to left field for Ryan Coleman. 1 away. So all 4 batters retired by Stone Forcina. Now Ty Manning hitting .318, 8 homers and 48 RBIs.
See how Tate responds to having a lead to work with, albeit just a 1-run lead.
Manning, the center fielder for Southern Arkansas, their most versatile hitter, good blend of power and speed. And plays a great center field as he takes a called strike 0-1. Playing him pretty deep in the outfield. Seems like Meehan in center likes to play these hitters pretty deep out there. Stone Forcina deals, and it's fouled on the third base side 0-2. Stone Forcina from Druid Hills, Georgia.
Senior gets the nod on the bump today.
The 0-2, ground ball shortstop. Acuff gobbles it up. 2 down.
Well, this is the start you'd hope for from Tate Stone Forcina on the line. Got a couple of ground outs, a couple of fly outs with a strikeout sandwiched among them.
Now Tucker Burton, the designated hitter, hitting .315, 20 homers and 66 RBIs. You know, Lincoln, we've seen these head coaches, a lot of times they put their biggest power hitter down in the order, maybe 6 instead of 3 or 4. There's a called strike 0-1. You get an opportunity with some runners on base, maybe the second inning, to do some damage.
Yeah, they all have their logic. Speaking of logic, Tucker Burton, distinguished scholar athlete in the Great American Conference, also academic all-district as named by COSIDA, the sports information directors.
Well, his 20 home runs this year, 2 shy of the school record for Southern Arkansas. And the impressive thing about him is that he can hit it out to all parts of the ballpark. He fouls it back. He has as much power as Coach Pettigrew has ever seen during his coaching career. Came back from an injury a couple of years ago to his knee and just having a fantastic season. Stone Forcina looking for another 1-2-3 inning. Ooh, he wanted that pitch right there. Doesn't get it. And the count is 1-2.
And Rollins trying to make the most out of the season, that they make it out of their region.
Beg your pardon, 2-2 is your count. Here's the pitch. Inside and high, 3-2. The infield plays Burton to pull. Trying to get on as the first base runner for the Mule Riders. Chris Lyles waiting on deck. Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Tate Stone for Cena, his second K, and he's had back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings to start out his outing. Worked that at-bat well against Burton. And Tate Stone for Cena is looking sharp early on. We go to the bottom of the second, 1-0 in favor of Rollins. You can see the player second from the right there is Jalen Whitehead, who pitched for Rollins in the first game, pitched really well, although the Tars lost. Here's Coleman leading off, and he lines a bullet to left field. Ryan Coleman with a leadoff single, and that's the third hitter to get a base hit for Rollins going the other way. This time a left-handed batter going to left field. 1-0 Rollins, and they have been hitting the ball well to the opposite field.
Not trying to do too much, go with it. And first time Rollins now has a leadoff batter on. As a visit to the mound underway for the Mule Riders. Well, we assume somewhere there is a jar with exactly 1 marble in it for the Mule Riders. They are guaranteed 1 game. That game today, if they can win today, that marble will stay in that bucket.
But they've had those marbles in there all season, right?
They've always had at least as many marbles as they've been guaranteed games, just
right,
to help them appreciate what they had still to go. And just try to seize that moment each game.
Justin Pettigrew with that visit, 6th season as head coach with Southern Arkansas after being the team's pitching coach for 11 years. Here's the battle of Parkers. Parker Abregu to Parker Smith. Bullet, left field corner. Picked up on the warning track by Lyles. Getting to third is Coleman, and stopping at second is Parker Smith with a double.
Well, 1 pitch after Parker Abregu was chatting with his coach. Don't think that's what they had in mind. And after we had seen batters shooting them into the opposite field, this time Smith able to wrap his bat around that one for the double.
So now Abrego in trouble with 2 men in scoring position and nobody out for Jared Herron, hitting 300, 5 homers, and 13 RBIs. The infield plays back. They'll give up a run to get an out here. At least up the middle they do. They're even with the bags at the corner of the infield at third and first. Abrego deals. And that's in there for a called strike, 0-1. So Rollins trying to break this open a little bit early. That was the first hit for Parker Smith after he'd gone 0 for 6 in the first couple of games. Herron 1 for 6 in this tournament. Swings and misses at a breaking ball. He gets behind 0-2. So Abrego is going for his first strikeout here, and he really could use it. Bright sunshine now here at Coleman Field in Cary. 0-2 to Herron. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Tag made. And that is the first strikeout for Abrego.
You mentioned that's something he needed to get back on track, especially with the top of the order coming around and 2 men in scoring position, neither of whom advance. As you see the sequence, as Herron records his first strikeout today.
Now the top of the order, Joey Rubin, who fly to right his first trip. They stay even with the bags at the corners of the infield and back up the middle with second and third, 1 out. Pitch outside, 1-0. Might see the infield come in if it was later in the ball game, but this early in the game, you're willing to give up a run to get out. You don't want that big inning. You're trying to stay away from that. Trying to stay away from that if you're Southern Arkansas. Rubin swings and misses, and the count is 1-1.
And big opportunity for the freshman here.
Leadoff hitter in this lineup who's been playing with a partially torn labrum in his left shoulder. Incredible that he's been able to continue. See, the sign comes in from the dugout for both the pitcher and the catcher. And the catcher will not put down a sign, as you can see. McGee does not put down a sign because the pitcher gets that sign as well. Pitch in the dirt, 2-1. It's a little unique. I don't know how many teams do that, but the pitcher, Abrego, there's your catcher, McGee. The pitcher, Abrego, he looks at his band there on his forearm to tell him what pitch to throw because he's also looking into the dugout. And usually you just trust the catcher to relay that, but that's not the way that goes for Southern Arkansas. Rubin takes, and that's a strike on the outside part of the plate, 2-2.
Yeah, they're all getting the information the same way. Meanwhile, in our next game, we'll see one catcher who has some equipment where they can just talk directly to him in his ear. Yeah, that's legal now. I just have never seen a pitcher looking into the dugout to get the signs. It's the first time I've ever seen that. 2-2 to Rubin. The pitch popped in the air, shallow center. This could be interesting as Manning comes in, not deep enough to score the run. So that is out number 2. First 2 men reached. Single for Coleman, double for Smith. Both of them standing in scoring position, but a strikeout and a fly out to shallow center. They have not been able to budge. Well, that just wasn't deep enough to score him. So now Chase Acuff, who doubled and scored in the first inning, 1-0 in favor of Rollins. That run came in on the Jesslyn Whitehead RBI single. Acuff bounces one foul over towards his own dugout on the third base side. 0-1 to Chase. So Acuff, the grad student from St. Petersburg, Florida, trying to come through here. A base hit could score 2. Abrego trying to get out of this jam unscathed. And Parker deals. That one's hit out to center field. Manning under control. And that does it for Rollins in the second. A great job by Abrego. After a leadoff single and then a double, he leaves 2 men in scoring position. We've played 2 at the Division II Baseball Championship in our first elimination game of the day. 1-0 Rollins leading Southern Arkansas. Rollins Tars out of Winter Park, Florida, colliding with the Southern Arkansas Mule Riders from Magnolia, Arkansas. Lincoln Rose, Joe Castellano with you. Bottom third of the order now coming up as Tate Stone Frasina has faced the minimum. 6 up, 6 down against the Mule Riders so far. This is Chris Lyles leading things off. Tate, you imagine, thought he might get some insurance to work with after the way this last half inning started with the single and double from Coleman and Smith. Instead, Chris Lyles able to break through. First base runner on the day for the Mule Riders to lead off the third. Well, the first time that Stone Frasina will have to work with a man on base. And that's something Lyles has done all year. 350 batting average coming in. Second hit for Chris Lyles against Rollins pitching this week, as he's now 2 for 4 against the Tars. Here's Connor Allen, 3 runs batted in, as he was responsible for all 3 runs. Runner is going, and stolen base for Chris Lyles. So single for Lyles, now in scoring position for Connor Allen. A great jump. Yeah, he definitely got a good jump, and Stone Frasina does not have a slide step delivery, so he was able to take advantage of that. For Connor Allen, it was a second inning home run back on Saturday, and of course he'll square around a bunt this time.
He went around.
Yeah, 3-run home run back in the second. Rollins would find its lone run in the seventh, but not enough. The 3 runs from Allen on his 11th home run this year would hold up to give Southern Arkansas its first and right now only win of the week. In an 0-2 hole with Lyles on second. 1-2.
Well, Allen also made a diving catch in that game, the first game against Rollins. So he did everything to help his team win the first game that we had in this tournament. That was day 1, game 1.
His last home run before that had been a big 2-run home run in the 8th inning in game 1 of the Supers to give them a late lead and ultimately the win. Not too shabby from your number 8 hitter. And Connor, part of this Texas pipeline to Magnolia, Arkansas. He's from Plano outside of Dallas. You mentioned the diving catch. The entire outfield for Southern Arkansas, basically center fielders. As the count goes full after an 0-2 hole, Allen has worked it full. Leadoff single from Chris Lyles. First base run of the day. It comes here in the third for the Mule Riders as they face Tate Stone-Fresina, who's been worked out of the stretch. Count stays full.
One thing to watch for with both of these starters, we mentioned it early on that they have been relief pitchers for the most part. Only the 4th start for Stone-Fresina this year. So you wonder how long they can go. I mean, the longest outing for Stone-Fresina this season is 5 1/3 innings.
Well, they would welcome that today.
Yeah.
7th pitch of this at bat. Ball 4. First 2 base runners of the ball game for Southern Arkansas. Tying run still on second, but Connor Allen now joins Chris Lyles on the base paths.
That just missed. A little bit outside.
Gives way to Riley Orr, first team All-Region, first team All-Conference in the Great American Conference. Mentioned second-generation mule rider. Dad Jonathan was a good one. Only third base unoccupied, nobody out. In the top of the third, and that is a beauty of a bunt. Only play to be had at first. The sacrifice executed by Orr. Lyles down to third, and Allen now in scoring position as well. 1 away.
Well, now you get to the top of the order with 2 men in scoring position. We'll see if the Mule Riders can do a better job than the Tars did in the last half inning of trying to get a run or 2 home in this situation.
So now second time through the lineup. Chris Sutton popped out in the infield back in the first. It was the first of 6 straight Mule Riders retired by Stone-Fresina, but now a little bumpier ride here in the third. Chopper, A-Cup charging, and this will tie the ball game. RBI ground out for Chris Sutton brings Chris Lyles home, who had your first hit of the ball game for Southern Arkansas. And now Connor Allen is 90 feet away from providing insurance in a brand new affair.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to put the ball in play. I mean, that's something that we didn't see in the last half inning. You saw the strikeout, and then you saw fly balls and one that wasn't deep enough to score the run. If you can get the ball on the ground like that, with the infield playing back, then you got a chance to score.
I said insurance, obviously, of giving them a lead here in this tied ball game. Brent Mcgee flied out to left back in the first. Fresina faced just 6 batters through the first 2 innings. This is the 5th batter here in the third. And he find that third out before the next run comes home. This one will have a chance in the gap, and it is caught.
Oh.
Cameron Meehan tracks it down, and while the lead has evaporated here in Cary, there's no deficit for the Tars to deal with just yet. Cameron Meehan on his horse to the gap, to the wall, secures the third out. We're level at 1. Mule Riders pick up their pitcher Parker Abrego, getting that run back as we're back on level ground, moving on to the bottom of the third. As the Tars have seen their lead short-lived, we'll try to establish a new one with the meat of the lineup, 3, 4, and 5 hitters. First up, Adams Torres, 0 for 1 today against Abrego. As Joe mentioned, Torres started his college career over in Orlando at UCF. It's pronounced Kissimmee, right?
Yes, Florida. It used to be the home of the Astros.
A lot of spring training. This one launched out to center. That'll carry over into the wall. As Ty Manning didn't have the same fortune as Cameron Meehan last inning, just could not squeeze it in, and it's a leadoff double for Adams Torres.
Wow, Torres put a charge into that one because generally Manning can catch almost anything out there, just like we saw with Meehan in the last inning, which, by the way, that was a spectacular catch. Went a long way, but this time Manning went a long way and just couldn't get there.
So here's Jesslyn Whitehead. RBI single already today. Squares around. Pulls back 1-0.
Watch Manning. I mean, he got a good break on it. He took a good route, but it was hit so well. It just kept going.
Yeah, didn't have a chance. Track that one down on the fly.
See, I never like bunting with your cleanup hitter here with a runner at second.
A wheel around as Sutton squeezes in the throw from Abrego. That's the 5th hit already from Rollins. Last inning was so promising. Began with a single and double from your 7 and 8 hitters, only for the next 3 men to be retired on a strikeout and 2 flyouts.
And here's what you like to do as a hitter here is have situational hitting hit to the right side.
This one up the middle, and the Tars are going to find themselves back on top for a second time. Throw is offline. As Adam Torres, after a leadoff double, comes home. It's back-to-back extra base hits, and it's another RBI for Jesslyn Whitehead, who continues to produce.
Well, that was a really bad throw by Manning. Just gave up an extra 90 feet to Whitehead by just unleashing one that went over the cutoff man, way off the mark. Wasn't going to have any chance to get Torres at the plate. I mean, right here, you got to hit the cutoff man. And it would have been cut off. It wasn't going to get him anyway. Instead, that throw way over on the third base side and allows Whitehead to get into scoring position.
Yeah, it is a single for Whitehead. Advances on that throw. Rollins has not had an insurance run today. They'll try to find one here. Second straight inning, the first 2 men reach on base hits. And Nick Santucci, they say, was able to lay off that one.
They're swinging the bats well with 6 hits already.
Six hits, 7 base runners. Santucci walked your DH back in the first.
Are they on pace for a hitting game like we saw from North Greenville last night?
Rollins already has more runs than they had against the Mule Riders in Game 1.
Yeah.
North Greenville showed us why. They're the #1 seed.
#1 ranked team in the country.
Sky high to center. This will advance the runner to third. Boy, all the way back to the warning track when Ty Manning brings that one in. As Jesslyn Whitehead, after the first outs recorded, trots down to third.
It's amazing the little things in baseball. That throw not hitting the cutoff man allows him to go to second. Then he goes to third on a fly ball. So he normally would be at first base. Yeah. Instead, he's sitting at third with one out, and he can score on another fly ball.
Yeah, he would not have been able to advance to second on that had he been on first. All right, here's Cameron Meehan. It was our impression if you make a great catch at the end of one inning, you get to lead off the next, but he's patiently waited. 3 teammates have come up before him this inning. He grounded out to the third baseman to end the first. And again, elimination game. Infield is all in on the grass. Play is at the plate with one out here. Southern Arkansas does not want to let Rollins find an insurance run.
That was one of the best catches we've seen. I mean, he covered a lot of ground to make that catch in the last inning.
We've seen some good ones. Opposite field. Will they test the arm of Allen? They will. They'll let it go all the way home. And it's a sac fly from Cameron Meehan. Jesslyn Whitehead, after his 2 runs batted in today, able to touch home himself to make it 3-1.
Well, that's a sequence to remember if this ends up being a 1-run game, because that really shouldn't have been a run right there for Rollins.
Well, you think he still should be on first base?
Yeah. I mean, he would not be scoring a run there if he hit the cutoff man, so that's something to remember.
Here's Ryan Coleman's single to lead off last inning. Faces Abrego for a second time. And it hit him. Is this the first of 5 hit batters this inning?
No, please. Not like yesterday.
Seems unlikely.
And I'm not sure what this conversation is all about, because it seemed pretty clear that he was hit, but
just asking the umpire to ask his peers for help. It looked like it hit him on the shin, yes?
Yeah. Coach Pettigrew wants a little explanation, and he wants them to discuss it, and they're going to do it.
This is the good old-fashioned coming together and talking to see if anybody else saw something differently.
It's a secret kind of situation here.
There's been no official request for a review yet.
I don't see how anybody else but the home plate umpire can make that call. I mean, they're talking about it, but what's to talk about? That's for the home plate umpire, Josh Gottlieb.
They've come together and they agree. Hit by pitch.
But everybody else is, 90 feet away at least.
Every now and then somebody has a vantage point. Little action in the bullpen. That's Hayden Habel, the freshman out of Louisiana. Chance to get out of the inning here. Manning squeezes it. So after Rollins sees its 1-0 lead evaporate, they decide to score a pair in the bottom half of the third, their largest lead today, as they're up 3-1 after 3. Everybody gets in free.
Which team will fly away after this game?
Oh, you don't want to see somebody evolve out of the loser's bracket and become a Monarch champion at the end of the week?
Well, another flag drops after this game.
We apologize. Top half of the fourth, Tate Stone Fresina entrusted now with a second lead to work with, this time a 2-run lead. After a 2-run bottom of the third, Mule Riders found their first hit, found their first run in the top half for the third to briefly tie this one up. Here's Brandon Nickel, one of 2 strikeout victims today for Tate Stone Fresina. Again, Nickel out of Langley, British Columbia. Freshman already all-region this year. Obviously, the Canadian aspires to be All-American.
Yeah. You know which Hall of Famer is from British Columbia? Larry Walker.
You betcha. The 1-2. Is he still in Denver?
I don't know where he lives now, but great Rockies player, Expos.
Are they still in Montreal?
They deserve a team.
The 2-2. Tate Stone Frosina double dips with nickel. A couple of strikeouts. First one looking, this one swinging.
Trying to get back to what he was doing in the first couple of innings when he went 1-2-3, 1-2-3.
Now batting first baseman Jacob Machuca.
Gives way to the freshman Jacob Machuca out of Corinth, Texas. Started at Fort Scott Community College. Down by 2. Only base hit of the day for Southern Arkansas belongs to Chris Lyles. That was last inning. Chris would ultimately score after leading off the inning with a single. One and one.
And these oven mitts hanging out of the back pocket now. I mean, it just looks like to me that would be a problem when you slide. Might need to have a different way to carry those things.
Satchel?
Yeah.
Maybe have a personal runner alongside you with everything you need.
Something, but I mean, it's hanging out there.
I mean, we're getting close to where a certain online marketplace can just deliver something to you on the spot within seconds. So maybe once you get on base, you place that order.
Instead of Uber Eats.
Base hit. Machuca about to be able to put that oven mitt to use. As Meehan will scoop it up and fire it in.
Well, when he was heading towards first base, I saw him. He was trying to make sure the oven mitt didn't fall out of his pocket.
Well, again, there's now somebody who basically walks between the dugout and usually the first base coach. This time, first base coach is kind enough to take on the burden.
Here comes the oven mitt. I like the strap on the oven mitt. I need a strap like that on my oven mitt at home.
See what the Mule Riders can cook up here. 1 out single from Machuca.
I said, see what you did there.
Ty Manning been patrolling center field this week. Grounded out to left side back in the second. Represents the tying run. Can the Mule Riders continue to match the Tars of Rollins? Again, Southern Arkansas knocked off a recent national champion in their super regional, sweeping those Vikings of Augustana out of South Dakota. Fought foul, 0-2. Both these teams knocking off recent champions, with Tampa falling to Rollins. That had to feel good for John Sjogren. 17 years with Rollins now. Over 400 wins with this program, almost 800 wins for his career. We've talked about his Hall of Fame playing days with Bryant University. He would go on to coach his alma mater. The 0-2. This one fought foul out of play.
And when you think about it, they were 4th in their conference behind Tampa, Florida Southern, and St. Leo, and somehow made it out of the regional and the super regional. And as you mentioned before, beat Tampa in 2 games, the super regional. So that was quite a journey for Rollins.
Well, and they had to go to the St. Leo regional, although they did not meet the host. They saw the Statesmen of Delta State, and then back-to-back games with Lee University, all wins. Again, the 0-2 to Manning, and that's 4 strikeouts to this inning for Tate Stone Frosina, working with some insurance, up 3-1.
Designated hitter, Tucker Burton.
Gives way to the DH. Second team all region, second team all conference. Native of Granger, Texas. Right side gets through. That'll finally move Jacob Machuca off of first. He'll go all the way to third. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. It's the second hit of the inning, the third of the ball game, as Tucker Burton comes through in the 4th.
I thought Whitehead might have had a chance to knock that down, but it was hit pretty hard. So it went zooming by him at first base.
Yeah, too hot to handle, needs an oven mitt. Machuca on third, Burton on first, still 2 outs. For the bottom third of the order, Chris Lyles is already 1 for 1 today with a run scored. Leading off last inning, included a stolen base along the way. Can he prolong the fourth? Teammate 90 feet away. We would see some teams try to get into a rundown there with Burton on first, but moment not inclined to take the bat out of the hands of Lyles. Tying run on base. 2-0. Connor Allen is on deck if Chris Lyles extends this inning. Moments ago, the 2-out single from Burton has done so. As you see, Machuca on third, his single with 1 out earlier this inning, has slowly made his way around.
This is a deep lineup. It's hard to negotiate it when you get to the bottom of the order.
3-0. Would Chris Lyles have a green light here? A .362 hitter coming into this week with 8 home runs. Tate Stone Fresina still with a 2-run lead. Needs 1 out. Right now needs a strike. Machuca on third, Burton on first. The 3-1 pending to Chris Lyles from Tate Stone Fresina. Mule Riders trail by 2. Sky high, Whitehead in foul territory, looking to where he is, makes the catch. Just a reach into the dugout. Jesslyn Whitehead gets himself to the perimeter of the dugout, makes the adjustment, and ends the inning. A promising inning for the Mule Riders comes to an end in their own dugout. 3. Two elimination games today as we trim the field from 6 teams down to 4, as already 2 teams over the past 2 days have departed Cary, North Carolina. Jared Herron comes to the plate for a second time now for Rollins. Rollins has already survived 1 elimination game this week. They were sent there due to a 3-1 loss back on Saturday to Southern Arkansas. Mule Riders were your home team that day. Rollins enjoying the home dugout in this rematch. Herron shoots this out to center, but Ty Manning has a read on it. What a great job by Jesslyn Whitehead in foul territory for that final out last half inning. First got to where he thought the ball might wind up, and that way he makes some subtle adjustments that also lets you know where the boundary is for the dugout.
And he wasn't going to get any help. It was the visiting dugout right there, and he just found enough room. That's hard. You don't know exactly what you're reaching into as you catch that ball.
And just some bad luck there for Southern Arkansas, as they would strand 2, including 1 on third base. Back to the top of the order where Joey Rubens 0 for 2. Batted in the first 2 innings. A foul out and a fly out to center. Mentioned Rubin was 1 for 4 against Southern Arkansas back on Saturday in that opener. We were able to appreciate just how good that starting pitching was from both teams, Whitehead and Adorno. Both starting pitchers still going in this one despite limited starts on the year. Right now, Parker Abrego on the mound for Southern Arkansas. Joey Rubin out of Charlton, Massachusetts, the freshman. Rubin's ahead of his time, a teenager moving from the Northeast down to Florida. It's an old soul.
Probably learned a lot about baseball from his uncle, Chris Colabello, who played in the major leagues.
A 5-pitch walk sends Rubin down to run the bases for the first time today. Third free pass today from the pitcher, Parker Abrego. See the 5-pitch sequence. And never tempted. Joey Rubin with the walk. Gives way to Chase Acuff. Doubled and scored in the first to briefly give Rollins its first lead. Flied out in the second to end that inning with 2 men on. Acuff's a two-way player. We've seen him on the mound 7 times this year, but for the most part earns his scholarship, the grad student. Batting in the high 300s. Left side, Nickel gets the lead out, turns 2. Parker Abrego has a new best friend. Inning-ending double play from the Mule Riders defense, and that quickly gets them back in the dugout. As Southern Arkansas and Rollins in today's first elimination game, a rematch from Saturday. Mule Riders quickly back into the dugout after a double play.
8, 9, and 1 hitter.
Rollins only able to bring 3 to the plate. Again, we mentioned both starting pitchers still in this one on to the 5th with Tate Stone Fresina working with a 3-1 lead with the season on the line. It'll be the 8, 9, and top spot of the order due up. Here's Connor Allen, who walked back in the 3rd. Was ultimately left on base. One of 3 left on base today by the Mule Riders over the past 2 innings. Lincoln Rose, Joe Castellano, great to be back with our NCAA.com crew. Always look forward to this week of the year. The Division II Baseball Championship, more often than not these days in Cary, North Carolina. I think the current bid that was awarded to them was through 2026. Have you booked your flight yet for next year?
I always look forward to coming here.
Connor Allen squaring around. Pulls back 2-1.
We've had great weather so far. Hopefully we avoid the rain today. We started early. I mean, it's not even afternoon yet.
Especially not for our Hawaiian viewers. The 2-1. The 2-2. Did he lay off it? He did not.
Oh.
Strikeout of Connor Allen.
Well, I thought he did lay off, but Rick Cacciatore, the first base umpire,
caught him.
Said that he went around. I kind of feel for Allen here. I didn't think he went, but let's see. Yeah, he probably did.
You need me to get you some stationery to send Rick a letter?
I might have to, but he's just disappointed in himself right there.
Riley Orr had the luxury to square around for a sac bunt back in the 3rd inning. Likely swinging away here with 1 out, nobody on. The number 9 hitter. And Riley, first team all-conference in the Great American Conference. Your shortstop for Southern Arkansas. Another year of eligibility left.
Rollins has had really good pitching. When you think about it, Whitehead had that complete game 5-hitter with 8 strikeouts. That was the first game against Southern Arkansas. Then they had good pitching in the second game when they won against Illinois Springfield. Justin Allentoff, the starter, 7 scoreless innings. And now this from Tate Stone Frasina.
Both teams have a first-team All-American pitcher, and they obviously each threw them back on Saturday. Unfortunately, one of them had to pick up a loss. And for Rollins, that meant Jalen Whitehead, despite just allowing those 3 runs and striking out 8, would not be picking up the win. Some people have Jeremy Adorno as their National Pitcher of the Year. We have a couple of pitchers we saw this week who publications had pegged as the best of the best. Of course, Adorno, just a freshman.
Yeah, he was great. And he got out of that tough situation early on and then just kind of rolled from there and through the complete game for Southern Arkansas.
Both these teams with their 3rd games of the week. I'd be pretty pleased with what they've been getting. 2-2 to Orr, pulled foul.
Yeah, I like Adorno's chances to be the pitcher of the year, 15-0.
After the strikeout of Connor Allen, Tate Stone Frasina, the chance to sit down a second straight hitter here. Dead out towards center, Meehan. That ball kept carrying. Cameron Meehan able to track it down 2 away.
Back up to the top of the order, second baseman Chris.
It's not a fluke that the pitching is so good in this tournament because Rollins had the 3rd best pitching staff in the nation at 3.29 with their ERA coming into Cary. They also have good defense. We saw that from Cameron Meehan on that catch that he made earlier. That was just fantastic.
Top of the order, Chris Sutton out towards left, and that one's gone.
Wow.
Got out in a hurry. We mentioned the sophomore replacing an All-American, and Chris Sutton very much has written a legacy of his own and adds to it here in Cary. A solo blast with 2 outs from Chris Sutton has pulled the Mule Riders within 1.
Well, I don't even know if Sutton thought that was going to go out. I'm pretty sure Coleman didn't think it was going to go out, but it just kept going and going over the left field wall. It looked like it barely cleared it.
And just like that, next batter up represents the tying run.
Second homer for the Mule Riders here in Cary, and their 113th of the season.
And
they were 5th in the nation coming in.
Here's your second most prolific home run hitter on the team, Brent Mcgee.
See, he's running hard. He didn't think it was going to clear the fence, or he thought maybe it had a chance, but it just did.
That was with 2 outs. Let's see what else the Mule Riders can do.
That of Chris Sutton was 101 miles an hour. Traveled a distance of 399 feet.
Whoever's measuring this home run did not want to give Sutton an extra foot. Says it travels 399 at a speed of 101. This one's going to get down. Back-to-back base hits. This one a single from Mcgee. Tying run is on base with 2 outs for the Mule Riders, who don't seem to be bearing much stress in this elimination game.
Question is, how far is it to the cement trucks out there?
That's a fluid situation.
Opposite field hitting for the Mule Riders. We saw that from Rollins early on.
So a visit to the mound. Tate Stone Frasina so far has allowed 2 runs on 5 hits. That second run, that 5th hit, Pardon me, the second run was on the 4th hit from Chris Sutton, the home run blast.
He's gone 4 2/3. I mentioned earlier his longest outing is 5 1/3, 75 pitches. So you wonder if maybe he's running out of gas a little bit here. But you still want to give him a chance to get through this.
Patrick Zerba, your pitching coach for Rollins. First 2 batters this inning, a strikeout of Allen, a fly out from Orr.
Here's that home run again.
Chris Sutton with 2 outs makes the inning count.
And that's really how you should run the bases when you hit one anyway, because you're not sure, unless it's a big bomb. No bat flip there.
So we go from you talking about Manny Ramirez yesterday to today people sprinting on home run balls. A little bit of a contrast. All right, back to Brandon Nickel. A couple of strikeouts today. Tate Stone for Siena needs a 3rd out in order to get out of this top of the 5th with a lead.
I was just thinking maybe McGee might think about trying to steal second. He has a pretty good lead over there. Try to get in scoring position with a potential tying run with 2 outs.
Your top 2 hitters in the lineup have come through. A home run and a single. Count 0-1.
The Mule Riders stole a bag earlier against Heron and Stone for Siena. Stone for Siena does not have a slide step delivery, so generally you can get a pretty good jump. We saw that earlier with Lyles.
I think our friends from Tigerville, South Carolina have just arrived to get in a warm-up day next door.
All of our friends from Tigerville are probably here.
I think I'm told a few people are back in the city limits watching. So enjoying the day off after their boys have improved to 2-0. Count of about 2,000.
Well, we know the entire town is into it.
Right now, teams from Florida and Arkansas colliding here in North Carolina. And Stone for Siena needs just 1 more strike to triple dip against Brandon Nickel, who's trying to extend this inning the way his 2 teammates have before him. 1-2. Point Loma also is here, even though we won't see them until tomorrow. We almost had to put out a missing persons report for them. They got 2 days off after improving to 2-0 by virtue of being in the Saturday bracket. Rollins hanging on to a 3-2 lead. Chris Sutton has trimmed that deficit to 1. Caught looking. Tate Stone for Siena strikes out Nickel for a 3rd time in these first 5 innings. And it allows him to preserve a 1-run advantage going into the home half of the 5th. But Southern Arkansas claws one back. Chris Sutton, a laser over the left center field wall. Been a tight one. Remember, Southern Arkansas handed Rollins a loss and a great ball game back on Saturday. Obviously, the Mule Riders thought it was a little bit better perhaps than the Rollins community did, but it was a really well-pitched ball game, a great way to kick off the week. Rollins has fought back through the elimination bracket long enough to get a rematch with Southern Arkansas. Tars have a chance to return the favor. At the same time, Mule Riders could single-handedly send Rollins back to Florida. Adams Torres, a double and a run scored back in the 3rd. 1 for 2 today against Parker Abrego. Both starting pitchers still in this ball game. And for whichever team moves on, boy, will that likely be a big help for them. The 2-0 to Torres. And just because we never show enough appreciation for them, Josh Gottlieb is our home plate umpire. He's from the West region. Rick Cacciatore over at first, Drew Eaton at second, and Steve Zawiski over at third. You'd understand if Steve there was hiding behind the third base coach, as he has been a ball magnet.
Yeah, he got hurt last night, bruised on his hand after a pitch hit him.
This will get down. A leadoff single for Torres. He's 2 for 3 today.
It seems like the whole hitting philosophy for Rollins is, hey, let's go the other way when we can, because that's worked out today.
So all the freshman Jesslyn Whitehead has done today is an RBI single in the first, RBI single in the third with a run scored.
And made a nice catch in front of the dugout defensively at first base.
Oh, yeah. And yet they're asking more from him. See if he can oblige. And Whitehead out of Orlando. Still looking for that first home run of his career. Saw Chris Sutton with a little home run pop, or a home run line drive last half inning. Ball will get past the catcher McGee. Torres down to second.
Yeah, that's just a pass ball.
Right off the base of his mitt. So Adams Torres will do some dancing around in your shot. Right in the middle of your picture. Good for him. The 2-0 to Whitehead. Now, nobody loves these pink tops more than the announcers, because otherwise these two teams would potentially be wearing identical uniforms.
Yeah, that was a good move.
Along with Angelo State, the blue and gold, a popular scheme. I feel like half the Lone Star Conference, along with Angelo State, with A&M Kingsville and St. Mary's. With that said, Rollins has been going with more of a Dodgers look, the white and blue, these past couple of games.
Yeah.
3-1 count to Whitehead. Runner on second, Torres with nobody out. And a walk to the cleanup hitter.
So if you lose this game, obviously you go home, as we've been talking about. If you win this game, you play tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 against Point Loma, a team that's been on a roll. They've scored 19 runs in their 2 games.
Yeah, Point Loma's had a knack for scoring early and then settling in, and at the end of the game, just putting it away.
I think they scored 5 in the 9th inning in the last game.
It's as if they want to reward the folks who stay up on the West Coast. First pitch strike to Nick Santucci. Nick's been one of Joe's favorites to watch this week. So far today, a walk and a fly out to center.
Got the long sleeves, the kerchief, and the ankle brace.
2 on, nobody out. Count 1-1.
And the stash.
We always see 8 great teams collide, and again, all of them have done nothing but win when it matters the most. And of course, at this point, we're accustomed to understanding that 7 of them will be disappointed at the end of the week. We just hope that sooner rather than later they can appreciate how incredible of a season they've had. And that'll include one of these 2 teams after this ball game.
Well, one of these 2 teams that wins, and we mentioned they have to play Point Loma, and they have to beat Point Loma 2 times in a row to get to the championship.
Yeah, that's the burden for the 2 teams that survived today's 2 games.
They'd have to beat them Thursday and Friday.
This is playable. Nickel. That brings them almost back into fair territory. It was caught in foul territory, and that is important to distinguish. But in this case, runner does not need to advance.
Well, here's the other thing. Was the infield fly rule called by the umpire? I think it was, because if it's in fair territory, then it's an out anyway. But I didn't see if the umpire pointed up. No, he didn't. He pointed foul, but he never said if it was the infield fly rule, which generally that would be in that spot.
We learned a few years ago a ball in left field is the infield fly rule.
Yeah, as long as if an infielder can camp under it, you can call that the infield fly rule.
That was in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Whole world learned something new. So Adams Torres leadoff single, the walk from Whitehead. They are still on second and first respectively. For Cameron Meehan. Last time up, Meehan with the sac fly that was able to score Jesslyn Whitehead. So you think maybe this ball game should be tied right now if things play out a little differently on, hitting a relay?
Yeah, that cost a run that Rollins scored when they were able to score their 2 runs in the third. The second one came in because a runner moved up. When the throw came in, didn't hit the cutoff man. So the runner, Whitehead, went to second, went to third, then eventually on a fly ball and scored on a fly ball. None of that would have happened.
Yeah, probably should have ended the inning still standing on first.
Yeah, so we would have been tied.
We're just tormenting our crew, making them debate whether to pull all that up again. Two on, one out. Can Cameron Meehan extend this lead for Rollins? 2-2.
Tried to hit it to the cement truck with that swing. Either that or the team bus that's out there. I've seen a player hit a team bus one time and break a window.
Fair or foul?
Home run, fair. It was in Ottawa.
Got him. 2 away. For Abrego, just his second strikeout of the day, but a big one.
Yeah, that's clutch pitching right there.
The left fielder, Ryan Coleman.
Rollins still with a chance to add back to its lead. Parker Abrego, facing the 5th batter this inning, was able to face the minimum last inning thanks to a double play. Won't be as fortunate this time around. Here's Ryan Coleman, a single, and has been hit by pitch today. I asked you that inning whether there would be 4 more men plunked, and you turned out to be right.
Thank goodness, no.
Foul ball.
Yeah, we've never seen that before. 5 batters hit in 1 inning like we did yesterday. And the total of 13 hit batsmen in 2 games, that's kind of crazy.
Again, after a while, it got to be so cliche to hit a batter, we saw an umpire.
Yeah, that's
Take
when
one.
Steve Zawiski got hurt.
He had to leave before they could run the bases for him.
Even the catchers were getting hurt on deflections.
1-2 count to Ryan Coleman. Parker Abrego with a chance to strand Torres and Whitehead after they led off the inning with a single and a walk. A foul out and a strikeout has followed, and neither has been able to budge. In the bottom third of the order for Rollins come through again. Bottom third of the order right now, 2 for 5 with a single, double, and a hit batter. Now, a lot of that's from Ryan Coleman at the plate right now. Facing Abrego for a 3rd time. Launched to right. towards the trees. Goodbye. A 3-run, 2-out blast from Ryan Coleman, as the Tars are determined to exact revenge to the only team to hand them a loss this week.
He gets the sombrero. Only his 6th home run of the year, but that looked like a home run hitter swing right there. Just a bomb. And with 2 strikes on him, too. He has reason to celebrate. That is a huge moment for Rollins.
Can Abrego shake it off and get the 3rd out here with Parker Smith, 1 for 2 today with a double.
It's only the 3rd home run allowed all season by Parker Abrego.
So no longer any base runners as some Squirrels forced to evacuate from home.
It's the Parker-Parker matchup again. Abrego and Smith.
Each Parker has taken 1 round. 2-2.
I would have appealed that down to first base. Now they're going to do it. No swing.
Our poor umpires, no matter what, are only going to have a 50% approval rating from the local fans here.
Well, Justin Pettigrew, the head coach, said, hey, let's appeal that, because the catcher, McGee, didn't do that right away.
Moments ago, 3-run home run from Ryan Coleman with 2 outs. Now the 2-2 to Smith. Out to the right field line, caught by Allen. But not before Rollins establishes its largest lead in this elimination game. A 3-run home run from Ryan Coleman.
Your attention, please. Now on the pitch for Rollins, the right-hander, number 31, Austin Long. Long, number 31.
Well, Point Loma has had the past couple of days off. That has deprived us a chance to watch one of the more entertaining players in Hunter Ochin.
There he is, with a drink in hand. One of the more energetic players that we've ever seen in this tournament.
Meehan out there as Machuca retired for the 2nd time today. Jacob now 1 for 3.
Got a new pitcher here for Rollins. It's right-hander Austin Long, the senior from Bedford, Indiana, transfer from the University of Indiana.
The center fielder, Ty Manning.
Ty Manning has grounded out and struck out 0 for 2 so far today. Biggest deficit for Southern Arkansas. Rollins scored 1 in the 1st. Established a 3-1 lead after 3. And has grown it since then.
Tate Stone for Cena went the first 5 innings, stands to win this game. Giving up 2 runs and 5 hits. Walked 1 and struck out 6.
And Austin Long, a former Indiana Hoosier. Looked good the other day when we saw him.
Worked 2 innings, gave up just 1 hit. Allowed a couple of runs, though.
We speculated whether there just maybe wasn't a fitted hat his size.
Yeah, that one's faded pretty good, isn't it?
Jury's still out on whether it still comes that way. The 1-2. Wrapping his bat around on this one. That's going to fall into the glove of Ryan Coleman.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
He is one of the heroes today for Rollins. He hits a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 5th. Now here in the 6th. How about this diving effort by Ryan Coleman, and he comes up with it just before it was about to hit the grass out there. And the umpire, Steve Zawiski, said, yep, he caught it. Wow.
I was ready to already put it in the book as a single for Manning. Instead, that's a tough 0 for 3. Here's Tucker Burton. Singled back in the 4th, 1 for 2. That was all against Tate Stone Forcina, now facing Long for the first time. In 33rd appearance for Austin Long.
2.66 ERA. Done a great job.
Right side. Long covers the bag in time. What a recovery from Jesslyn Whitehead. Oh, little pitch. Little backhanded toss. And the Tars are having fun. Up by 4. Another look at the recovery from Whitehead to Long. And fans traveling well from both Arkansas and Florida cheer on their favorite players, perhaps family members as well. Neither starting pitcher in this ball game now, as both have given way in the 6th to the bullpen.
Get our first look at Hayden Habel, the left-hander, 1-0, 2.25 ERA, his 7th appearance of the year, first here in Cary. 12 innings of work this year, so he hasn't been very busy. 11 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 walks, 9 strikeouts.
His big role this year has often been coming in to relieve Adorno. Of course, that was not needed when Adorno went the complete game victory against Rollins back on Saturday. Final warm-up pitches for the freshman Habel.
Well, he's a freshman, as you say, so, I mean, this is his 7th career appearance right here. I think he might be a little nervous.
He did pitch the NCAA opener against Washburn as the starter and got nearly 2 times his usage of the entire season in that game alone. Mentioned now up to a total of 12 innings of work. Now here on the big stage in an elimination game. Jared Herron today 0 for 2 out of the 9 spot with a strikeout and a flyout against starter Parker Abrego.
It was tough for Southern Arkansas because they lost their number 2 pitcher, Jacob Womack. Had to have Tommy John surgery, so he went out of action about 3 weeks ago. Otherwise, he would have been contributing on the mound.
Yeah, he was often the Friday ace.
So they've had to patch it together without him.
Mule Rider team that logged 668 hours of community service over the past calendar year. And that one past the outstretched glove of nickel, the number 9 hitter, Jared Herron, comes through and trouble in the corner. It'll be a stand-up double for Herron.
Well, the hit parade continues. 9 hits now for Rollins.
They had 5 all of the first meeting against Southern Arkansas on Saturday. Both teams would settle for 5 hits that day.
Lots of hard hit balls for the Tars. Both it's hit so hard it got to the wall. Lyles had some trouble out there.
Back to Joey Rubin, who finally reached with a walk in the 4th, only to have a double play in that inning. First time to see Habel. Top of the order here for Rollins. Scored 1 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 5th. Have yet to score in consecutive innings.
That's where we get to see what kind of back control Rubin has for Rollins. because what he'd like to do is hit it to the right side, get that runner over to third base.
As Brent Mcgee just corrals that one to make sure the runner has to stay.
Generally, this is a battle where you see a pitcher knowing that, wanting to work inside on a right-handed batter so he can't hit the ball to the right side for the obvious, get that runner over to third situation. But we'll see what happens with Hayden Hable and how he works Ruben.
Well, the Mule Riders have seen some pretty big deficits here in the NCAA postseason, and obviously it has turned out well so far as they've made their way to Cary for their first ever championship this week. Big comeback against Augustana there in the Super Regional, scoring 7 runs in the top of the 9th, all with 2 outs. They don't want to put this off that late. But right now, trying to keep Rollins from adding more to the deficit. Rallied from that early 9-2 deficit against Washburn in the NCAA opener to win 12-11. Count stays at 1-2. In fact, this postseason alone, Southern Arkansas 4 times has hit a go-ahead home run in its final at-bat of the game. Again, just trying to keep Rollins on 6 runs. Right now, nobody out. And fighting off pitch is the leadoff batter, Joey Rubin, here in the top of the order.
Another pitcher in the pen, Isaiah Haynes, getting loose for Southern Arkansas.
Saw Isaiah earlier this week. The 1-2 to Rubin. That'll even the count. And I feel like at least once each broadcast this week, we have to remind folks who aren't familiar with Rollins, last year their win total, 9.
Not good.
They are sitting on 41 wins right now, hoping to find a few more this week.
Well, if they win today, that would be a new school record for wins in a season.
Into foul territory, Machuca. 1 away. Runner on second has to stay put. Again, both teams were told to set their alarms a little bit earlier than anticipated. They were ready to go at 10:30 Eastern today. Hopefully everybody got the message who's tuning in, whether it be in the Southwest or in the Sunshine State. Left side, that ball booted. Runners on the corners. I don't know that Riley Orr would have been able to get the out in time at first, but doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, I think they're going to give him a base hit on that, but we'll see what the score decides. No, it's an error. E6.
Official score not as kind. Would he have been able to?
Yeah, it was. I mean, he was in front of it, so it wasn't like he was really going that far to the right.
And you just hope he wouldn't have been tempted to throw it to third. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Rollins looking for more insurance. Again, they've already survived 1 elimination game this week. We've seen the Prairie Stars and the Penmen both eliminated. We have trimmed the 8 teams down to 6 by the end of tonight. We will be down to 4. 1-1. Adams Torres base hits his last 2 times up. All that against Parker Abrego. Went 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored, a single and a double. Big hole on the right side. We've been saying that all week. One team smart enough to play a second shortstop at first base just so he can man that entire side of the field.
Rollins has definitely had the better of the two teams as far as defense today.
On a game of inches, they've been able to get to that ball on some great plays, while a couple of narrowly eluded gloves of Mule Riders, including one this inning. Wanting to make it a 9-2 lead right there. Torres out to center. This will score 1. As Jared Herron led off this inning with a double, and now a runner in a pickle. Oh boy, what a miscue. Got him. But not before the run comes home. The sac fly from Adams. Torres. Jared Herron scores after his leadoff double. And then Chase Acuff for the rundown retired. So the lead is up to 5. Biggest deficit so far for the Mule Riders, heading on to the 7th.
We go to the 7th inning here at Coleman Field at the USA Baseball Training Facility. And Southern Arkansas down to its final 9 outs, down 7-2 against Rollins in this elimination game, the first of 2 of them. Later on after this one, we're scheduled at about 2 o'clock Eastern time to have Angelo State and Westchester go at it. Alongside Lincoln Rose, I'm Joe Castellano. Chris Lyles will try to get something going for the Mule Riders here in the 7th. And he takes a strike, 0-1, facing Austin Long.
Only 2 Mule Riders have crossed home today, Chris being the first back in the 3rd inning. That briefly tied this ball game at 1 run apiece.
1 for 2 today, grounds one up the middle, and a base hit past the diving Acuff into center field. So a leadoff single for Lyles. He's 2 for 3.
That's the start they need. He looks over to that dugout, hoping for a chance to score for a second time.
Long had a 1-2-3 6th inning when he came in. Now he faces Connor Allen, who has walked and struck out. Had a big 3-run homer in the first game of this championship against Rollins. And they played him pretty deep in the outfield. Middle infielders cheating in and playing him in the pull just a little bit. Looking to turn 2. Pitch in the dirt, 1-0. That's something that Rollins has done a great job of this year, is turning double plays. They came in with 56 double plays, tied for first in the nation with Cal State Dominguez Hills. Lyles off to a decent lead at first. Pitch low for a ball, 2-0. Lyles stole second back in the 3rd inning, but when you're down by 5, it kind of takes away the idea of stealing bases. Bright sunshine now here in Cary. We have a lot of clouds around us, but it's a warm day, kind of humid.
That's kind of a special heat that you feel out there, season on the line.
Yeah. Southern Arkansas won the first time they played Rollins 3-1. Now they're down by 5. Here's the pitch to Allen with a runner going. It's a ball. Throw to second. The slide safe as Lyles steals another bag with Herron's throw a little bit high over there.
Really good jump from Lyles. Herron clearly had the arm, but just a little high.
Well, there goes my theory about how you might not steal bases when you're down 5. It's okay as long as you're safe. Tag applied by Acuff. That was pretty close. And are they going to look at it? Oh, yeah, they're going to look at this. First, they're talking about it. because maybe that tag by Acuff was there in time to get Lyles.
Again, even when a review is asked for, the umpires, good old-fashioned, will come together, ask if anybody had a different angle, saw something differently, and if they decide that they all agree with the original call, then that would be what you would review if a review was requested.
I'll tell you what, if this one turns out to be reviewed and reversed and he's out, then it really looks like a bad base running play because you're down by 5.
And they have challenged.
But I would really feel bad for Lyles if they overturn this. Because, I mean, you just don't want to give away outs when you're down by 5 runs. That's a high throw, but Acuff slams down the tag. I don't think there's enough there to overturn it. I mean, to me, he's in there.
Yeah. In theory, this will be a short review.
Looked like a good call by Drew Eaton over there. He was right on top of it.
Again, our umpires do not consult the monitor themselves. They are simply having the review relayed to them from a head of officials.
I mean, in real speed, he looked like he was safe. And to me, that's what really matters. And these guys are just having a good time out there. Apparently, Parker Smith, the outfielder for Rollins, thinks he can be an umpire. I mean, in real speed, it's hard because it is pretty close.
It's just a reminder how these umpires overwhelmingly get these calls correct. And it's important to them to get it right, so they welcome the review.
Right.
They don't want to make a wrong call and have that affect a game.
Nobody wants to be Don Denkinger or Jim Joyce. Denkinger in the 85 World Series, Royals Cardinals, made a terrible call. And Jim Joyce, of course, on the
No-hitter?
Galarraga no-hitter, yeah.
Look for a point and safe.
Armando Galarraga. Safe.
Call
So,
confirmed.
good call, yep. So Lyles at second, nobody out. And Connor Allen, by the way, has a count of 3-0 because that pitch was a ball. So Allen looking for some magic like he had in the first game against Rollins right here. Riley Orr to follow. Top of the 7th, 7-2, Rollins leading.
I think we have music still going.
Yeah, home plate umpire.
That's the downside
Josh
of
Gottlieb.
replay. By rule, have to have some fun tunes in the background.
Josh Gottlieb called time.
Not a fan of fun tunes.
All right, here we go on 3-0. Does Allen have the green light? As Long deals, and it's in the dirt, and it gets behind Heron. So ball 4, the runner scoots over to third, Lyles. First and third, nobody out.
Well, if Lyles didn't have all the equipment that he had to unstrap to go down to first, he might be sprinting towards second.
So Allen on at first after the walk, and Lyles at third. And Riley Orr will step in. 0 for 1, a sac bunt, and he's flied to center. Top of the order follows him. Infield plays back at double play depth. 5-run lead. Long deals, and it's outside 1-0. So Austin Long, the senior, struggling a little bit here in the 7th. And the last thing you want to see when you're up by 5 runs is a pitcher throwing 5 straight balls, 6 straight balls. Gave up the single to Lyles and then 6 straight balls. Had to wait around a little bit for that replay review. 2-0 to Orr. In there for a strike, snapped her to first, back in safe as Allen. As Heron was checking on him. 2-1 now to Riley Orr, who's 1 for 7 at the D2 championship. He's been a really good hitter with men in scoring position this year, Riley Orr. He bunts, and it's foul. That was a safety squeeze right there.
Well, his best plate appearance so far in these 2 games against Rollins was the sack bunt back in the 3rd inning. That briefly tied this ball game, or allowed them to eventually tie the ball game.
Southern Arkansas so far in this game 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. As Orr tries to come through here with a 2-2 count. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Riley Orr is caught looking for out number 1. First strikeout for Long.
After a leadoff single and a walk, Riley Long finds that elusive first out. A little help from his catcher, Jared Herron, framing it.
Austin Long, that was a good breaking ball right there. His fastball goes 88 to 90. Faces Chris Sutton right here, who homered his last time up. Just got it over the left field wall. Takes a strike, 0-1, so he's 1 for 3. Batting here with 2 on and 1 out.
Yeah, if he hit that ball any lower, it just would have wedged into the padding on that wall.
Just cleared it.
It was a bullet.
Long comes set. 0-1 to Sutton. Strike called on the inside corner with the slider. 0-2.
That was back in the 5th. That briefly made it a 3-2 ball game. And then Rollins has answered with the last 4.
No balls, 2 strikes to Sutton. Long's pitch. In the dirt outside, blocked nicely by Herron. Caught there as he slid to his right. 1-2. Rollins pitchers held their opponents in the first 2 games to a 190 batting average. 6 hits so far in this game for Southern Arkansas. That's popped into right. We'll see if this is deep enough. Smith charging in, catches it, and that's not going to be deep enough as Lyles tags but does not try it.
Well, hindsight 2020, he scores there on that play as the throw off the line, but
you don't want to take that chance when you're down 5 runs. 2 down.
I think the fact that you have the top of the order here influences that decision.
Brent Mcgee will try to produce. 1 for 3. Single his last time up. Got robbed of an extra base hit in the 3rd on an incredible catch by Cameron Meehan in center. He went a long way sprinting to his right in the gap in left center and going back and was able to haul it in off the bat of Mcgee. And there have been several really good plays defensively for Rollins in this game. Mcgee takes, and that's a strike, 0-1. Single by Lyles, he's at 3rd. Allen walked, he's at 1st. But they were on base with nobody out. Now there are 2 down after a strikeout and a flyout. Outfield plays deep against Mcgee. He has 16 homers this year. The pitch in there for a strike above the belt, and it's 0-2 to Mcgee, so Austin Long getting ahead.
First 2 batters reaching this inning. Still nobody has scored after the last 2 batters have been retired on a strikeout and a flyout.
To Mcgee. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A little celebration by Herron, the catcher, as he gets him on the breaking ball with his 2nd strikeout. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left, 6 left for Southern Arkansas. 7th inning stretch. It's Rollins 7. Here in the town of Cary for the Division II Baseball Championship. Elimination Wednesday. One of these two teams going home after this one, and then another elimination game to follow with Westchester and Angelo State. 7-2 in favor of Rollins as the Tars come to bat in the bottom of the 7th for the second time against Hayden. He gave up a run in the 6th. Rollins scoring in the first inning. He's got one run there, and then after the game was tied by Southern Arkansas in the top of the 3rd, Rollins scored 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. Another run came in on a homer by Sutton for Southern Arkansas in the 5th. It was a tight 1-run game, but 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th for Rollins and a 3-run homer by Ryan Coleman. And then another run in the 6th, and they have a 5-run lead as Jesslyn Whitehead leads off, and he's been on base all 3 times today. Takes high for a ball, 1-0. He has driven in a run with a single, walked, scored 2 runs, and made 2 nice plays in the field. One in front of the first base dugout when he caught one, and another one where he had to recover when he knocked the ball down, and he kind of had a backhand flip to first that was very accurate and sort of improbable considering how much he had to rush on the play and go get the baseball, and really made a nice play. And all of this from a guy who is only a freshman.
Yeah, you mentioned just stayed calm in that situation. Still was able to execute.
Hits one to center field, hit pretty well. Manning, though, is under control. 1 away.
Well, middle third of the order has been 2 for 6 today. All those hits belong to Whitehead. The only other base runner here from the 4-5 hitters is this man, Santucci, who walked in the 1st but has since been retired twice.
Pretty good explosion for Rollins today after they only scored 1 run when they lost their first game and only scored 3 runs when they won their second game. They've got 7 today. Here's Santucci taking in the dirt, 1-0. He has walked, flied to center, and popped to 3rd. Santucci, 14 homers this season. And the grad student takes a called strike, 1-1. Well, you start to see how deep is your pitching staff when you get to this game and beyond. Foul ball at the plate, because you're going to have enough pitching to beat Point Loma 2 straight games on Thursday and Friday to get to the championship. And if you do that, then you have to hope you have enough pitching to win it all on Saturday. And we saw that with Wingate last year. That's why they were able to win, was pitching depth. That one went off Santucci somewhere, and he's a little shaken up.
Yeah, everybody's buying Nick time. He's swinging and then realizes all of a sudden this ball's coming in on him. Winds up hitting it off of himself. As both the umpire and the catcher were willing to give him a moment.
That time his left foot was hobbled. Got a brace on the right ankle. There's a fly ball to center for Manning again. One hands it for the second out. Nobody on for Cameron Meehan, who is 0 for 2 today with a sac fly. He made a great catch in center. He is 1 for 9 in this tournament. His one hit was a home run.
Best offensive moment this game, the sac fly in the 3rd. That brought home Jesslyn Whitehead.
Gives him 4 RBIs in the 3 games. Facing Habel for the first time. Hayden Habel deals, and it's high for a ball, 1-0.
Well, Habel hoping to just face the minimum here in the 7th, quickly get the Mule Riders back to the dugout where they're down to their final 6 outs, potentially in 2022.
Habel, the freshman from Benton, Louisiana, and he throws it all the way to the backstop on the fly. That's better than hitting a batter.
Unless we have to replace the backstop now.
But it does put something in the back of the mind of the hitter that, man, this guy can be wild at times when he throws one like that.
These early games, not as many fans gather around the backstop. You're in the sun. Most of them are up higher in the shaded seats.
Look out. He throws it behind him. So that's proof positive that Habel can throw it all over the place. And Now Meehan really thinking about it. I mean, where is he going to throw the next pitch?
Well, this is just called consistency.
I can't wait to see the pitch sequence on this one. 3-0 the count. 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Rollins. 2 runs, 6 hits, and an error for Southern Arkansas. We're in the 7th. Rollins trying to win the rematch after losing the first time against Southern Arkansas. Ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk to Meehan. And those last few pitches were not even close. First walk for Habel.
Yeah, Meehan was the only starter in the lineup who had not reached base.
That was the closest pitch of the at-bat, that first one. And that, and then that. Yikes. Ryan Coleman, 3-run homer into the trees beyond the right field wall his last time up. 2 for 2 today. Also has a single, and he's been hit by a pitch. He lines one into right field. Diving for it is Allen. He's got it. The second time in this tournament that Allen makes a spectacular diving catch, and that ends the inning. Wow. Connor Allen trying to pump up his team. That was ticketed to be a base hit, but he dove and caught it at the last moment. At the end of 7, 7-2. We go to the 8th inning, and Southern Arkansas trying to come back from a 5-run deficit. A play that was made out in right field by Allen could pump up the team. Defensive sparkling play as Brandon Nickel will lead it off for the Mule Riders, having a tough day at the plate. 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts, facing Austin Long, and he takes a ball 1-0. Got some defensive changes.
We have seen some fantastic defensive plays on both sides.
We have just one change, actually. Kyle Bullock is now in left field, replacing Ryan Coleman, who made that last out. So Bullock is now in the 7th spot in the order for Rollins and playing left field.
Second time we've seen Kyle this week.
That one is skied to center field. Meehan is there. Smoothly makes the play for out number 1.
Brandon Nickel, who had struck out 3 times this ball game, puts a little surge in that one. Just doesn't quite carry.
Jacob Machuca coming up. Machuca 1 for 3, a single. 1 for 10 here in Cary. So the cleanup hitter has not really been able to get it going, but he did have a single to center in the 4th inning. Machuca facing Long for the second time. Pops it foul back of the play and out of play, 0-1.
Both teams with 6 runners left on base so far. Remember last inning, Southern Arkansas opted not to send a runner on a fly out to right. Obviously would have not been a guaranteed run. In retrospect, the throw was off the mark.
Well, you tend to be a little more conservative when you're down 5. You don't want to give away outs. You want base runners. And the Mule Riders are desperate for those base runners right now. There's a strike, 1-2. Infield playing Machuca to pull. The first baseman, Whitehead, is right up against the line, and now they put the overshift on. I mean, they were playing to pull a little bit. Now they've got 3 infielders to the right of second base. Third baseman Rubin is playing at the shortstop position. And that one is hit in the air to center field off the end of the bat a little bit. Meehan is coming in, and that's out number 2. So Meehan has made 2 catches in center. And actually, it'll be Ty Manning now, batting here with 2 out and nobody on. He's 0 for 3. Grounded to short, struck out, and lined one to left that was caught by Coleman. It's interesting that you would take Coleman out for defensive purposes because he made a great catch on Manning earlier.
Maybe Bullock wouldn't have needed to dive for that ball.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he camps out underneath it.
Maybe he's that good. Manning hits one hard foul down the third base side. 0-1. The Mule Riders looking for life here. And this is a team that had won 10 in a row before they lost to Point Loma on Monday. Oh, we have another defensive change. Parker Smith out, and Healy is out in right field, we're told now. Pitch in the dirt, 1-1 to Manning. So it's Healy in right. I believe we saw him as well the other day.
Yeah, the freshman who started as a student athlete over at Furman.
Aiden Healy. That one's launched foul. That one goes past the walkway, the entrance walkway over there, where you have the logos of each team that participated here. That's along that walkway.
There's a lot going on over there.
Oh, yeah.
Each year they figure out a way to add to the experience parading into this ballpark. Get the mileage to each campus.
1-2 to Manning. That's hit in the air, deep into left center field. Meehan on the run. Got it. Meehan catches all three fly balls in the 8th inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 7-2, Rollins leading Southern Arkansas. Great job by our entire NCAA.com crew here in Cary, North Carolina for the Division II Baseball Championship. There's a good seat that's available. 7-2, Rollins leading Southern Arkansas in our first elimination game of the day. Be followed by Angelo State and Westchester, another game that will eliminate another team. On the bottom of the 8th, Rollins will try to add to the 5-run lead, and it'll be Aiden Healy leading off. He came in to play right field in the last half inning. And now Healy batting .324, no homers, 4 RBIs for the freshman from Long Valley, New Jersey, batting up here against Hable. And he takes a strike, 0-1. 8, 9, and 1 in the order with Heron on deck, and then the top of the order, Rubin.
Yeah, Aiden got a handful of starts this year. 23rd appearance overall.
Skies one to first base for Machuca. 1 away. Well, the big blow in this game that really opened it up for Rollins was the 3-run homer by Ryan Coleman in the 5th. That made it a 6-2 game when it was only a 1-run game at the time. That's the one to remember. Here's Heron, who doubled and scored in the 6th. That was a tack-on run. He's 1 for 3. The catcher hits one to center field, hit well. Manning going back at the wall, and it hits off the wall. Heron getting to second base, and it'll hold up there as it's played in by Allen. A double for Jared Heron.
Dugout loves to see the extra base hustle from their catcher.
Well, he almost went yard right there. His second double of the game. Joey Rubin climbs in. Rubin 0 for 3 with a walk. That was the 10th hit for Rollins. Nice block there by McGee.
If this is a tighter game, they might have been trying to get Heron to stretch that to a triple.
Yeah, once it caromed off the wall and it got by the center fielder, that gives you the chance to get a triple. But Heron is a catcher running there. I give him credit because he was running pretty well. Pitch to Rubin is just a little bit high, 2-0.
Boy, we saw a home run that just barely got over the wall, and of course that one was just below that yellow line.
Yeah, I mean, that's only, maybe a foot or two from being a home run. Fouled out of play right side. Rubin has a count of 2-1. Well, Jalen Whitehead, remember we talked about how well he pitched even though he lost in that complete game Saturday in the first game. He would have his regular rest to pitch in the next game against Point Loma if Rollins hangs on to win this game. Because he would have had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off and could pitch tomorrow against Point Loma. As Rollins will try to make a run out of the loser's bracket after losing the first game. We saw that last year with Wingate. They lost the first game, made the run all the way to the championship.
Before last year, though, we talked about how difficult that path is due to how much pitching you have to have.
Yeah, but Rollins seems to have the pitching that's fouled back. But you're right. I mean, even if you have the pitching, you really have to have depth throughout that pitching staff. You can't just have a couple good starters or a couple good relievers. There's going to be situations where other pitchers have to step up. Today, Tate Stone Fresina did a nice job. It was only his fourth start of the year. 5 innings, 2 runs. 2-2 pitch. Ooh, that just missed inside. 3-2 to Ruben.
Again, winner of this will have to hand Point Loma 2 losses and able to move on to that championship final.
3-2 to Ruben. Inside and low, ball 4. So 2 on with 1 out now for Rollins here in the 8th inning, and Chase Acuff will come up. Second walk for Habel. Came into the game in the 6th inning. Acuff is 1 for 4, a double and a run scored. 3 for 10 in this tournament. Rollins shortstop. First pitch to Acuff. Checks his swing on the pitch in the dirt. Did he go? No, he didn't, says the first base umpire, Rick Cacciatore, on the appeal. 1-0.
Some shadows just now engulfing the entire field. And we'll dip the temperature a few degrees for these athletes here in this elimination game.
Our second game is scheduled to start at 2 o'clock Eastern time in about an hour from now. We'll see about that. Called strike. 1-1.
Yeah, I think that's been fluid the entire way.
Westchester, fresh off coming back from a 3-0 deficit against Southern New Hampshire yesterday, eliminating the Penmen. Taking on Angelo State, losing last night 18-3. Both of those teams is turning around after playing yesterday and going at it today. Not easy, especially when you think about Angelo State. That was a long game to be out on the field, and a bummer game when you get beat by 15 runs.
Well, they're since we did start today earlier, going to have 3 to 4 hours fewer rest than even they thought they were going to have on the quick turnaround.
Acuff hits a comebacker. Habel thought about third, throws to second.
Dropped it.
Safe as he dropped the ball. Now, wait a minute. Now they're saying out. The second base umpire, Drew Eaton, signals out.
Did he see him kick the glove? Because that's the only reason I can
he might have, but he also might have come off the bag and then got tagged.
Well, no, but they're saying it's a double play.
What?
He indicated out, then pointed to first and out. So if you kick that glove, there's an out there, and then you're determining that that's interference.
Wow, we got to see this again. I cannot wait to see this. So Habel thought about third, didn't throw there. Could have tried to get, start the force play there and start maybe a double play. Then decided to throw to second. So he thinks third, no. I'll go to second. Maybe we can turn 2 there. Ball's dropped. So he's safe. Where's this kick?
No, no. I was wondering if maybe he had poked the ball out of the glove, but that's not the case.
What is this all about? Now they're just leaving the field. So
it's a double play.
A double play, yeah. Wow, that is bizarre stuff right there. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the 9th. 3 outs left for Southern Arkansas to try to come back and stay alive here at the Division II Baseball Championship. Down by 5 runs as we go to the 9th inning. One of the strangest endings to an inning, last half inning. And to clarify what happened, the runner, Rubin, didn't slide into second, so that was called interference. And that's why a double play was called, even though Sutton had dropped the ball there at second. But interference. Line drive by Burton to right. That's a base hit. As Healy plays it in, Tucker Burton starts off the 9th with a single as they need a 5-run rally here, the Mule Riders do.
3 outs to work with.
Chris Lyles will climb in. He is 2 for 3, 2 singles and a run scored. So Lyles up there hitting .350 on the season. Facing Austin Long, who came on in relief in the 6th inning. There's a strike 0-1. There is some action in the bullpen for the Tars. They have a right-hander throwing. Long, who has 10 saves this year, deals low. And because he came into this game in the 6th inning, he would be able to get a save. You just need to work 3 innings, and he's trying to work 4.
He was thinking he might have a little more insurance. Right now, settling for a 5-run lead.
That was one of the strangest endings to an inning that I've seen in a while, as that was fouled back.
Well, it's a ball hit to the pitcher, who is guaranteed at least 1 out, but a little hesitation, got greedy, looked at third. That almost cost him the out at second. It should have, because frankly,
throw was dropped by Sutton.
Yes, the throw was never caught.
And that's why you had the safe signal, but then you had double play because the runner, Rubin,
going
didn't
and
slide.
Up. Yeah.
Let's look at that again. Look at Rubin. He doesn't slide, so even though he's really safe because the ball is not in the glove of the second baseman.
And there was zero thought of ever trying to turn 2, even if that ball's caught.
But it's interference.
Yeah.
Just because he didn't slide, which is pretty strange. I mean, I don't know that he was in the way of anything at all. 2-2 the count, but I guess the rule is that you really have to slide there. 2-2 to Lyles with a runner at first, nobody out. That runner, Burton, is being held by Whitehead. Long deals, ground ball, base hit left field. So the Mule Riders are not going down without a fight.
Chris Lyles does it again, 3rd hit of the day. And he has inspired some hope here for the team out of Magnolia, Arkansas.
3rd hit for Lyles today. There's your action in the bullpen with right-hander Steven Swift getting loose, the junior. So a couple of hard hit balls here off Long. And now Connor Allen, who was 0 for 1, a strikeout, 2 walks. He's made 2 great catches in right field here in Cary. Ended the 7th inning with a diving catch. There's a called strike out in right field. He's also got a 3-run homer to his credit in the first game against Rollins. So trying to keep things going here, down by 5 runs. Well, they need a couple more base runners to bring the potential tying run to the plate. Think about that. Long's 0-1. Foul back to the screen, 0-2.
Yeah, Long is throwing strikes. But a couple of base hits so far here in the 9th.
It's a Mule Riders team that averages over 10 runs a game. They only have 2 runs today, but you never know when they can explode. They did it in their Super Regional. Trailed by 5 entering the 9th, scored 7 runs with 2 outs to win. So we know what they're capable of. Line drive, base hit left field. Burton gets the 3rd. He holds up, and now the bases are loaded with nobody out for Riley Orr. 3 straight singles against Long. How long do you stay with him if you are Coach John Sjogren?
Well, he's throwing strikes, giving his defense a chance, but just an even better job of hitting, as he will get a visit from pitching coach Patrick Zerba.
I mean, in that super regional game against Augustana, to be down 5, score 7 with 2 outs to win it, that gives you confidence that you can do another comeback. And they have the makings of one right now with the first 3 batters getting on. You get one more guy on here, and then the tying run comes to the plate. And you're going back to the top of the order after this. This is the number 9 hitter. So, yeah.
Fans from Arkansas and the surrounding region hoping that they can book that hotel for another day.
And it's nervous time for Rollins, especially if they paid attention to what happened to Southern New Hampshire yesterday when they blew their lead late. There are the base hits.
Burton, Lyles, and Allen all with singles.
I mean, we saw what happened with Westchester having really no business winning that game yesterday, and they did. Now, that was hit by pitches. This time it's just been solid base hits.
What that did was, again, just get you a little more time in the bullpen. We'll see how much longer Long is in.
Riley Orr is 0 for 2 today. Fly to center, struck out, had a sac bunt. He might be the number 9 hitter, but he's a 376 hitter coming in. Then you got Sutton on deck at the top of the order. So here we go. Fasten your seatbelts. Austin Long, who came in the 6th inning, trying to get his 11th save to keep Rollins alive in this tournament. But bases loaded, nobody out. First pitch to Orr. Outside, 1-0.
There's still one marble in that jar.
You love the marbles.
Well, right now it's singular.
The marble. Well, this game is for all the marbles to move on. 2-0. I'm not sure that you stay with Long if he doesn't get Orr out here. I don't think you go any longer with him.
At the moment, a 5-run lead. That could change here in a moment. All 3 outs to work with for Southern Arkansas.
Two and 0 to Riley Orr. Low and away, 3-0. So now Long can't find the strike zone. Orr figures to take all the way here on 3-0. Three and 1. Long, who has thrown 49 pitches since coming in the 6th. 3-1. Ripped down the left field line. Foul ball. He was way out in front of that. And that happens sometimes when you're ahead 3-1. You're really trying to get the bat going early, looking for a fastball. And
again,
3-2.
Orr's a 9-hitter with 55 RBI this year.
Rollins just looking for outs, up by 5 runs here in the 9th inning. 3-2 to Orr. Hit in the air, right center field. Healy coming over with Meehan. Healy calls, makes the catch. Runners tag all around. Relay to second, not in time. The run scores from third, Burton. Lyles goes to third, and Allen just did get into second base. That was a little risky. And Orr gets the sac fly to make it 7-3 Rollins.
Our runners and fielder collided there at second. Both are a little banged up. Rollins happy to trade the run for the out in that situation. Get them within 2 outs of slamming this door, but And right now you've got a couple of hobbled student athletes.
And I don't know about tagging up at first base and going to second. That was too close for comfort. But he did get in.
Eliminates that double play ball.
We've seen Southern Arkansas take some risks on the bases, even though they're down by quite a few runs. This is one of them.
And just slides right through that bag into the shortstop.
Right into Chase Acuff after that relay by Torres. All right, now we have Chris Sutton, 1 for 4, a home run, 2 RBIs. And he swings and misses at a breaking ball way out in front of it, 0-1. So he tries to get on. And if he can get on, then the tying run would come to the plate in the person of Brent Mcgee, who's on deck. Runners at second and third, 1 out. The pitch to Sutton. It's fouled back. He's got a piece of that one, 0-2. 3 straight singles to start out, then a sac fly in this 9th inning. And you've got plenty of power after Sutton here. Guys that could launch one. And Mcgee and Nickel. And Sutton hit his home run to left field back in the 5th inning. Outfield straightaway, pretty deep in center with Meehan. 0-2 to Sutton. Line foul over in the bullpen area, past the bullpen area. Hit the tarp out there. I'm glad we haven't used that yet. No balls, 2 strikes to Chris Sutton, the leadoff hitter. Lyles leading at third and Allen at second. Long getting the sign from Heron. Taking a long look in, working slower now. Oh, 2 to Sutton. Ground ball, third base, gobbled up by Rubin. Checks the runner. Low throw, dug out of there easily by Whitehead. He makes that look so easy. 2 down.
What a confident scoop from Whitehead.
It's like, yeah, no big deal. It's almost like he expected a throw like that.
After Rubin looks the runner back, nobody scores.
So they still need another base runner to bring the potential tying run to the plate. And Brent Mcgee is a guy who gets on base quite a bit, as we mentioned earlier. His on-base percentage over 500. 1 for 4 at the plate today. But I expect him to be very picky up there. I would think he would be patient in this at-bat. He's got a ton of walks this year. 61 of them. And he does take, but that's a strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Love to get on here for Nickel, the number 3 hitter, to have a chance to tie this game with 1 swing.
Westchester and Angelo State, the Golden Rams and Rams waiting in the wings.
Way outside. Yep. But Long trying to get the job done, looking for the 4-inning save. He's kind of laboring here in the 9th inning, just working real slow. Gave up 3 straight singles, but then got a sac fly for an out and a ground to third that was hit hard, but right at the third baseman. 1-1 to Mcgee. Pitch. Inside and low, 2-1. You had to feel that Mcgee would work a deep count here. I mean, it's not that he's looking for a walk, but he's going to make sure he gets his pitch. The infield, they play him to pull. It's not an overshift, but it is a shift. Two balls, 1 strike to Mcgee. Here it is. High, 3-1. We're 1 pitch away from having the tying run come to the plate.
You got somewhere to be?
Well, it seems like an insurmountable lead when you're talking about 7-2 coming into the inning. Then suddenly it's 7-3, and then you have all these base runners. And then the next thing you know, you got a power hitter who's on deck. Mcgee with a 3-1 count against Long. The pitch. Whacked foul on the first base side. He was way out in front of that. Now it's a full count. So now Long is 1 strike away from ending this and ending the Mule Riders season.
Right now the burden on your first team all-conference catcher McGee. It's all defensive team this year as well. The junior would love to come back next year as a national champion. His senior season.
Just trying to get on here any way he can. 3-2 to McGee. Popped up foul, back of the plate, out of play, and he stays alive at 3-2. Combination of Tate Stone for Cena and Austin Long for Rollins. Just 1 strike away for that pitching staff from ending this. Full count with runners leading at second and third. Here comes another 3-2. It hit him. So McGee goes to first on the hit by pitch, and we will see the potential tying run come to the plate in Brandon Nickel, who has 14 homers this year. However, he's had a rough day. Nickel 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts against starter Tate Stone for Cena, and he has fly to center. Will he face Long or will he face Swift? We'll see, as it's decision time for Coach John Sjogren. He's made his decision. He is going to the bullpen again. So Long leaves. He will not be able to get the save. And we'll see about a save situation here for Steven Swift, who comes out of the pen for Rollins. We'll take a break and be Well, the move made for Rollins is not to somebody in the bullpen. It's to the shortstop, who's also a pitcher, Chase Acuff. He has 6 saves this season, which is second on the club. He's got a chance for a 7th to close this one out. Acuff 0-1, 3.12 ERA. He's only worked 8 2/3 innings this year, giving up 11 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. So he goes from shortstop to pitcher, and your new shortstop is Drew Howard. And what a spot for Acuff with the bases loaded, 2 outs. Potential tying run at the plate in a 7-3 game as Brandon Nickel climbs in. So the only warm-up tosses Acuff had were on this mound here, and a swing and a miss from the side armor, Acuff, 0-1.
You mentioned the struggles so far for Brandon Nickel, as Tate Stone for Cena struck him out 3 times. Austin Long got him to fly out to lead off last inning, 0 for 4. And all that would quickly be forgotten if he comes through here.
Check swing, and he went around 0-2. So now Acuff within 1 strike of ending it. With Lyles at third, Allen at second, McGee at first. The tying run at the plate in Nickel, who has 14 homers this year. But he is behind 0-2, just trying to stay alive. Acuff deals. Way outside and low, 1-2. I mean, you've been facing pitchers that are going over the top for the first 8 2/3 innings, and all of a sudden you have this sidearm hurler. Different arm angle for Nickel to worry about. The 1-2. Way outside with the frisbee there. 2-2.
You would almost think at shortstop that this is how he's making his throws to first. But he can mentally adjust.
Yeah, great athlete. He's not worried about walking about her so much. Doesn't want to give up a meatball. That's fouled out of play on the right side. I mean, you just can't give up the home run here. That's the thing. Don't leave it over the middle of the plate.
Well, and that might be why you go to him.
Yeah.
This is probably about as tough of a look for you to really groove. You might be able to hit him, but it seems less likely you're going to tie the ball game up.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Nickel. Pitch. Liner down the right field line. That's a base hit in the corner. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. Throw into second. The slide. He's safe. Nickel took a chance there to go to second. He just gets in, beating the throw from Healy. And just like that, Southern Arkansas within 2, and now they have the tying runs in scoring position.
Did Brandon Nickel slide past the bag, though? He's initially safe, but did his hand come off the bag? You always tell your infielders, keep that tag applied. Don't just whip it up in the air to show you have the ball. Keep that tag applied, and they are going to take a look at it.
A 2-run double, but let's see if he's safe.
Does the left hand come off the bag?
That's a great slide. Look at that. He avoids the tag of the shortstop, Howard.
Well,
and then does he stay on the bag? I thought
he does stay on
it, yeah.
So then the question is, did he tag him in the head?
And the second base umpire, Drew Eaton, almost tripped over the runner, Nickel.
Is there an angle? That one does not show. That shows conclusively that that glove contacts the helmet.
No. I mean, not conclusive.
No.
I mean, there's no way you could tell on that replay. So you got to go with the call of Drew Eaton. Wow, that was close. And that was important to try to get to second because you're the tying run scoring position. And, you know, you hit the ball down the line, you figure you're going to get a double. But Healy made a nice throw into second. Howard made a nice tag attempt. But that was just an even better slide by Nickel to avoid that tag. That was just special.
Right now it's a 2-run ball game.
Burton and Lyles scored. Allen went to third. And now we wait for the replay. But, man, can you imagine if a game ended on that call getting reversed? I can't even imagine it.
Safe.
Yeah.
Nothing that we saw on those reviews suggested otherwise.
That's a shortstop who just came into the game.
They do
Drew Howard.
Confirmed the call.
All right, so now Jacob Machuca comes up. He's 1 for 4 a single, and if he can deliver a base hit here, we could have a tie game. A team that was down by 5. Southern Arkansas scored 3 here in the 9th. 2 down, so Akoff's still 1 out away from ending it. Machuca is 1 for 11 here in Cary. First pitch to him. Swing and a miss with a mighty cut. 0-1. Machuca, 320 average, 11 homers.
There's 2 other teams with an elimination game coming up, but right now they are spectators to this one. Everybody pulled into the intrigue here in the 9th inning.
3 infielders to the right of second with the overshift. And the third baseman, Rubin, is well off the third base line. The outfield straight away. Playing deep enough that I think it would be tough to throw anybody out at home plate from that outfield. 0-1 the count to Machuca. Nickel delivered with 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. That was a huge cut again by Machuca. Looked like he was trying to hit it to the trees past the right field wall with those first 2 swings. But now he's behind 0-2. Ready for the 0-2 high. 1-2 to Machuca. I beg your pardon. I think I said something about the runners. It's actually Burton, Lyles, and Allen who have scored in this inning. And you got McGee at third and Nickel at second. Just to clarify that. Machuca at the plate with a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's the ball game. Akoff finishes it off with a strikeout. A valiant effort by Southern Arkansas to try to come back from down 5. They cut it to 2. They had the tying runs in scoring position, but in the end, Rollins wins and Southern Arkansas goes home.
Mule Riders handed the Tars their first loss. It's the second straight elimination game that Rollins is able to survive. So now they have a date with Point Loma and will have to beat the Sea Lions twice to move on to the final. We are down to 5 teams playing baseball in Cary.
And Rollins got really good pitching for the most part so far, and that's what's carried them. But today the bats were clicking as they win it 7-5 over Southern Arkansas. One more look at the home run by Coleman. You had a home run also by Sutton, but it was the Coleman blast, the 3-run homer in the 5th, that turned out to be the difference in this game. And some great defensive plays as well for Rollins on the way to the victory. Coleman also made a diving catch. For Lincoln Rose and our entire crew, I'm Joe Castellano, inviting you to tune in for our second game coming up soon, Angelo State and Westchester. Congratulations to Rollins.